All right. Good evening, Rando fans. Welcome to SpeedGaming 4 and the Final Fantasy Randomizer Chaos Comedy Tour. I am Space Drake, and I am joined by a temporarily indisposed Nightmare Phoenix, and with Shadowed Flames on the tracking. And we are bringing you Serisan versus ShoFukomachi tonight. So what you are seeing with a pair of fighters and a pair of black belts is that our runners opted to go for 4 forced party members. And it has resulted in what can charitably be described as a party composition. What we are looking at is 2 fighters that have plus 10 agility and a curse that does not allow them to equip bracelets, and black belts with level 1 white magic and black mage agility. So it's nothing but melee and a little bit of white magic on black belts who get to pretend to be healers. So we are going to see how well both of these runners can work with what is probably not a party composition that most people would opt to take. As we wait for our runners to kick off here.
While Nightmare Phoenix is temporarily disposed, I'll fill in for him. So, hi, resident tracker in attendance. I have to agree, this is definitely a party composition in this tournament that is going to be incredibly tricky because you got no sweeper spells to work with unless Fade happens to hit level 1.
Mm-hmm. And granted, you also have the fact that you have no fast at all. So if you want to do guaranteed boss damage in Topher, you are leveling up at least one of those black belts. And we're off. All right. Serisan is checking weapons first, hoping to do something to make this work. Going for a pair of iron hammers. ShoFukomachi going for the white magic. And hey, there's Life 2 and Cure 2. Right off the bat. He's going to be happy to see that, I'm sure. And that's also Life 2 learnable if those fighters promote. And we also have Chain Armor -2 for the fighters. Not the best, but you certainly will take it at this point.
Yeah,
along with their +2 gloves, which will actually give 3 absorb just by themselves.
Yeah, that Life 2 landing in the first slot is going to be a game changer because you got both black belts, you can use it now. All 4 characters can use it after promotion. And you got some of the hardiest characters in the game in your party. So health is going to be a good thing. Whether they have the magic defense to survive it is a different thing altogether.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Sho going for something you very rarely see in these flags. You can actually check the king early and get the item for that in vanilla would be for saving Sarah. Checks it to see if to please give us something to work with here, and it turns out to be a big fat crystal that we need to go the entire way around the inner sea in order to turn in. So no help there.
Yep, that's probably one of the worst items you can get from the royalty in the beginning because, as you said, you got to go the entire loop around unless you luck out and find a bridge in one of the 3 free chests in Topher.
Yeah, and we must show remembering. Oh yeah, I need to equip stuff to actually be good. Meanwhile, they're both grabbing an early level or 2 here just outside Canaria, and I don't blame them with this party composition. Serisan going for the Topher checks, and this feels especially cheeky given this party comp. But gonna take a little bit of walking grind here.
Well, let's face it, with this group, walking grind's probably going to be your best bet unless you happen to get lucky and come across incredibly soft 3-eye grind.
Demon RHK, this was 4 forced. This was what the seed gave them. you ask Dingwu to roll a seed, and this is what you end up with.
All right. When are we going to start the petition to add Dengwu to the list of people we don't trust to roll seeds anymore?
Oh, he's already on there, but we have no choice. Meanwhile, Serisan getting a decent amount of hits in. There were early weapons for those black belts, and at this level, a black belt with a weapon is really your best shot at actually having them like not be useless. Running into some gray imps on the way up. The good news is we haven't seen anything too nasty from the random encounters just yet. The bad news is that we haven't seen anything nasty from the encounters yet, which means it's all lurking a little later in.
Yeah, the wooden sticks with even a +2 or +3 is still going to give you decent stuff for a couple levels at the very minimum.
And Serisan getting the bad news that it's the crystal and the cube, which the cube will be helpful later on, but that does not do anything for our mobility right now. So it's off to the item shop to spend some of this cash we grabbed. Hopefully going to do a little bit of encounter manipulation here. No heal potions at all. Just going to grab some needful things. Going to save and going to start this long walk across the entire continent.
Well, with the random item selection that we got to start, I believe I saw 12, 16 heal potions, something like that. So they have something to get by for the time being.
Yep.
It's just your resource conversations definitely going to be a key factor in this.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Serisan, yep, going for that check on dwarves. Get some nice money and an opal gauntlet for his trouble. Doesn't do too much for him right now.
It doesn't do much now, but that'll definitely be good to have when it comes time for promotion.
Yep. Sho now making his way over to dwarves as Serisan decides to beat up some wolves. And this has to feel so bad for these runners. After you get really used to like running in, with at least like one sweeper and like some kind of caster, and this has got to just feel like you're like running in molasses right now.
Oh, that goes without question. You get used to having your sweepers, and now you're going to have to rely on finding your Zeus gauntlets and Thor hammers and mage sticks to be able to really do any sort of effective enemy manipulation come fights. Now, I see in the chat that Nightmare Phoenix has gotten free of whatever predicament he's in, so that's my cue to get out of his chair and let him resume talking.
Yep. Thank you for coming in, Shadowed, and we will be keeping a close eye on this race as Serisan decides to just go for broke and make the make the marsh play right out the gate before even getting to Elfland.
It's a good idea. And also, hey everyone, I'm Nightmare Phoenix. I have the worst luck in the world, and big thanks to Shadow Flames for jumping in and taking my spot while I attempted to break out of a room. That said, Serisan trying to get through the top floor as shows going on a little bit of a shopping spree, shall we say.
Yep. Still checking that level 3 magic, see if there's anything there that a promoted knight can use. I saw a heal 3 in there.
Heal 3 is can be very helpful for keeping everyone topped off, especially if you're only going to have that opportunity for any kind of healing magic, since zap from ghouls and zombies.
Zap from the ghouls, specifically. So this is an unkind Topher. While Sho going for that +1 silver armor. And he finds the slab. It is in Elfland for 43,000 big ones.
That's a little expensive. And hopefully,
but what's not expensive is heal potions. Do you like seeing those at 18 a pop?
oh, that's glorious. That is an instant buy for me. I'll take 2,000 of them. And we got
Serisan continuing to try and hack his way through this marsh cave, and he finds some salmon.
I do believe that is the Titan's favorite treat.
Yes, it is.
Which translates to the ruby for all of the vanilla knowers out there.
But Serisan decides to reset out of it. Gonna be like, you know what? I don't want this salmon to get zapped into space. We're just gonna come back for that.
And it could also end up getting nuked later on. You never know with these flags.
Yep.
He's also probably thinking that if it's only the ruby, he really doesn't need it for progression if he finds a floater.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a fish does not get us where we need to go right now.
One could call it even a salmon of doubt.
One could, and you would be joining Paradox TXS in chat in making very, very bad fish puns. We're going to get our old men check, and the old men have the canal.
The old men have been quite constructive lately.
Mm-hmm. And that tells us that the only spots we have left to check now are Ice Cave, Provoca, and Matoya. And if one of those don't have a floater, then we are gonna need that canal and a ship, and all of a sudden that ruby suddenly starts to look a lot more important.
Absolutely, and it looks like Serisan may have filled his inventory slots with items so that he can try to avoid a lot of the monster in a box situations.
Yep, that in a lot of other seeds that a tactic has been sort of debated. One might say there's a question of how much time you actually save doing that versus just diving some chests. But with this party comp, I'm a lot more for it. Like, you want as much encounter manipulation and control as humanly possible, especially here in the early game. So I'm all aboard on that idea.
Now, with this party comp, because it's a very interesting situation that puts us in, which side would you prefer? Would you prefer to focus on your fighters, perhaps your black belts, or be weird and try to do both?
Well, you absolutely need to keep one black belt alive, because they have the life too until you promote, and that's necessary. And I think they're both making the correct decision in just leaving all four of them up, because you also just completely lack any sweepers at all. And that is a Cure 4 and an Invis 2 that is night learnable. We're really looking for that promotion.
That is exceptionally huge. That really is going to make the difference in this seed.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I agree with what both runners here are doing and leaving all four Light Warriors up, because without any sweeper spells at all, you need everyone you can, doing a thing. Especially to get through big packs like that, these pirates.
Precisely. It's a good thing we do not have the buffed pirates flag turned on, because that would this would be a gatekeeper to rival Kraken.
Pretty much.
But fortunately, it looks like the fighters at least have something decent to swing, and the black belts on Sho's side doing some decent work. So he's going to make short work of these pirates, as Serisan is continuing their journey all the way to Crescent by foot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, crowbar from the pirate captain himself.
Oh, well, that means that either Matoya has something for us, or it's time to dive ice with this party.
I could see doing ice now, because your other alternative is going back to Batoya. And
remember that we've been working our way toward Matoya this entire time because we lack a bridge. And so we've had to take the long way around to get all the way to Matoya.
well, if you're Sho, Batoya is easy. If you're Serisan, Matoya is still a little far off. I would probably, if I were Serisan, I would probably dip my nose into ice, because that early ice play could be the deciding factor in who takes the early game lead.
Mm-hmm. But we are going to see from Sho what the witch has for us. And the witch has the more fetch quest for us. Let's go.
Vanilla herb.
Yep.
All right. Well, we got to go all the way back. Oh, but we can
But we find a way across the water.
All right. This is no longer an unabridged seed.
Womp womp.
Or an abridged seed. I already used that joke today. It's worn out.
Well, Sho making use of that bridge immediately to loop back around and going to take the dwarf cave route over to Elfland again to avoid hitting the river system too much.
This is probably one of my if I don't have any way out of the inner sea early on, this walk is not that bad, especially if you run into some decent mobs along the way. You can get a decent amount of money in a couple levels. Which
Speaking of getting some levels, Serisan upgraded the weapons on his fighters a little bit, and now decided to take a troll, and is finding a bunch of encounters. Gonna manipulate his way past those and keep going.
And it looks like instead of walking to Provoca, he's probably gonna check ice. Maybe.
No,
Please check ice.
It's hard to tell yet because he could go either way.
He might go volcano first.
Oh, all right. We're getting the volcano armory check to get some spending money.
I like that play. He saved on that intersection in the river just in case volcano doesn't pan out, so he can reset back and loses very little time.
Yeah. He also knows he has the hero run here, and he finds Force Cerebi. With better weapons, or a black shirt, this is not a bad grind to take.
Unfortunately, we're not doing enough damage quick enough.
No, we're not.
This is definitely a seed to run from. And
meanwhile, a elf prince has some explosives for us as we continue to fetch quest.
Well, at least we don't have to travel halfway across the world again.
At least.
All right, Serisan now deep in the armory found a Sun +2.
That's +2. You like seeing that when you have a fighter.
That's a very, very good weapon early on. It'll if he finds nothing else, that he could probably take that to the end game and still be okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Provided, the power bonk gets picked up along the way. Ooh, Gersharks in the box.
That Sun +2 not doing well. Actually, no, these are pretty squishy sharks.
That's not too bad, and it's gonna be decent XP.
Yep.
Sho turns in his TNT and gets that power bonk.
So the ship is in ice. I hope y'all are ready to get chilly.
Well, after being in the volcano, I'm sure Serisan will welcome the cold confines of ice, as Sho gives the Hooray Dwarf a wide berth, so we don't get to see what side of Hooray Dwarf Sho is on.
Mm-hmm.
Stare.
Mm-hmm. That's
to see that anything like that on a mob that likes to travel in giant packs is awful.
Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, Sho is about to get the bad news about Marsh here.
Well, it looks like we really don't have much of a lead yet.
No, this is still very, very up in the air. Serisan has the marsh knowledge, but is doing this dive into volcano and decides to reset the monster in a box to get a couple less targets so he could actually clear the board.
That's actually not a bad idea. Personally, I thought he was more trying to run from it, and then realized that he doesn't get the item if he runs from it. He has to defeat the monsters in the mocks. I've been talking a little bit too much. I'm going to take a sip. And he gets a pure for his trouble.
Yep.
Not worth it.
Well, it is worth it for the money and the EXP at this point. You're still hungry. You're still plenty hungry for both.
That's very true. And that armory was just packed with money. Not great amounts, but a couple thousand here and there in each box. So I mean, he's walking out with a good weapon. So that's definitely an opportunity for Serisan to get some momentum.
Oh, and ShoFukomachi running into those scorpions with Lit 2. Gonna point out that that's also going to make the upper levels of Earth Cave potentially very spicy once it's deciding to go that way.
Serisan hesitating at those peeds, thinking, these would make an excellent dish to tack on to my light warriors. But decides to head on back, save what he has, as Sho picks up his ruby from Marsh.
Yep, as Sho getting the bad news about the fish on his own.
Is he gonna? He's gonna finish touching the boxes, and he's probably gonna walk out.
Yep, he's gonna try and walk this out, and he runs into those Zap ghouls, and Sho gets that bad news too. Sho going back for the ruby though.
He's going to give it a shot. And apparently they also have Paralyzed Touch, which I think is vanilla.
Yes. That is vanilla, and Sho is going to have to deal with all of this in order to get to that ruby. Meanwhile, as Serisan going ahead, skipping ice, and is going to parallel Sho's other checks.
Now,
so our runners are still largely neck and neck.
I think what Sho's doing is going to play off better for him because he's going to figure out that the ship is absolutely in ice and there's no other place that it could be. And this means he can easily get over, turn in the ruby, and get down to Sarda, which could be the floater right there as well.
Yeah, like the floater, the Sarda could absolutely be progression of some sort.
Now, is Sho going to take this ruby and immediately leave?
Yes.
Is that the right thing to do? Absolutely.
He does not want to do anything more with these Zap ghouls than he absolutely has to.
And Serisan picking up his crowbar, also known as the rod. As Sho, once again, getting just walled out by those...
Really trying to go for this.
Wow, he didn't even make it 2 steps in this time.
I actually don't know about the wisdom of this, because unless you step right it so that you only pick up the ruby in the absolute minimum number of steps, I'm skeptical of one's ability to get out of here without hitting ghouls, but we'll see.
So far, he's managing it. Of course, he has to get over these punch happy gargoyles with sleep touch. And can we make it? Come on, Sho. We'll take bones and creeps all day, no problem.
Especially since all they want to do is punch you.
Scum? That's cool too. What's the scum? Yeah, no problem. Easy.
I believe it is Zap Ghouls coming up next though. And
he manages to get out. Drops the cabin after taking one cheeky step, and now we're going to go see if there's anything fun in Marsh to grind on.
Well, ShoFukomachi is a bolder man than I am, because if I would just be immediately heading out and going to March at this point. Like, I have questions about this play as Serisan continues to get the bad news about ice.
Yeah, grabbing the bridge, grabbing the herb, realizing I need to go back to Marsh. Or
I need to go back to Marsh, and I need to go to ice to get my ship. Well, I either need to go to ice to get my ship, or praying for the Hail Mary that it's just a floater in... Well, no, it cannot be a floater in ice, because the ship will always be in the inner sea.
Yes, sir, which means that if you know what's in Marsh, and volcanoes not incentivized, and the old man like to make canals, and you haven't found a key yet, there's only one option, and that is ice.
Well, I suppose it could be key into Canaria locked ship. That is the other option we have available to us right now.
You know, the key and ice could be the thing, but it looks like ice is where we need to go.
Yeah. And meanwhile, the grind spot in Marsh turns out to be a big old dud, and it's just lit 2 scorpions all day, every day. I'm a little surprised that Sho is trying to stick this out. I'm not sure what else he's looking for.
He's checking. He's looking for things. He found a ribbon.
He found. Oh, okay. I was gonna say that's what he was looking for. He wants a ribbon.
Bad news here, though. He still has to get out of here.
That's gonna be a lot easier with a ribbon. However, that's gonna be a lot easier with a ribbon.
Of course, with packs of zombies with that stun touch and ghouls with zap, that's
he's protected. He's protected from the zap now. That's part of the point.
Yeah. But the stun, not so much. And if he just gets stun locked, he will just be sitting there for minutes waiting to be let free or for his pain to finally end. Yeah. But it looks like he might get out of here. Let's hope I didn't just curse him.
We did check Volcano Armory Glares, but in this flag set, Volcano is not incentivized, so it cannot have our item.
Yes, incentivized, meaning a key item lives here.
And yes, as we just discussed, chat, the ship will always be located by logic in the inner sea, and we've made all our other inner sea checks, so we know that the ice cave has to either be the ship or be a key that leads into the Canaria locked location, which is incentivized in this flag set, and that would be ship.
So, Sho managing to escape Marsh with his life and all of his loot, he can breathe a lot easier now. As Serisan goes down to turn in his TNT, and realize this is a power gauntlet. It's the power glove, and it's really bad. Serisan
taking a moment to hesitate there as he comes to understand what fate has in store for him.
Both of these runners now know where their next destination lies, so they are stocking up. Still not enough money to buy the slab, and you know what? That's why Sho was down in Marsh for as long as he was. He was trying to get enough money for that slab.
Money. Yeah.
Unfortunately, the money found, not enough. But it is enough to buy some camping gear.
Yeah, I actually kind of don't hate that play now that I think about it, because now you know that the ruby's there. You know that you have the canal, and so if you can knock out all of the Melman checks in what essentially amounts to a single trip, that would be fairly efficient routing. You just have to get there.
With the level of skill that both of these runners have, routing becomes so incredibly important. Knowing where to go, how to go there, and what order to do it in, that is where most runs are won and lost.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Serisan going the provoke away around to ice, probably going to pick that up first, and then is thinking, okay, and I'll go grab my ship, and then I'll dock up near the Northwest Castle River and grab my ruby that way.
That is one way to do it.
But ShoFukomachi going what might be called the traditional route from Crescent Lake up through the river system to the ice cave, and will beat Serisan there. Right now, I would say that Sho has a very slight lead on Serisan because he was able to do some of these checks just a little bit faster and more efficiently, and so he has his ruby, but he is getting just beaten up by all these hydras.
I was going to say, he does have a ribbon, but that ribbon doesn't do too much against a hydra punching you in the face.
Yep. Doesn't seem like either one of our runners quite have the encounter manipulation figured out just yet, or they don't feel like they have exactly enough save items to do, say, short encounter manips. As both of them keep running into really, really nasty river monsters. Especially those stun touch hydras. You never like seeing that.
No.
The hydras are scary enough on their own. You don't need to give them stun touch.
Serisan making it into ice first. Show about level 6 across the board. I think Serisan has the levels over Show right now.
Very slightly. However, I also don't like this play on trying to take the Frost Dragons, because Frost Dragons are very evasive, even in the base game. And so if they roll up, they're just hopelessly obnoxious without magic, which we don't have. Oh, the mummies have thunder! We did not see that when Sho went messing with... when Serisan went messing with these mummies in a volcano. And ShoFukomachi getting the bad news there.
Wraiths have Stinger. That's
which means that they have a skill list. Oh, and Wraiths also have Fire too! I was going to say that means they might have a spell list, and there it is.
Managing to get out, kind of antidote and heal up. And he's going to see what's in the incentive room. Yep. Which may or may not actually be the incentive room.
Yep. And
Show's right behind him.
Serisan deciding to take these mages for some extra experience. Sho doing the same with a single sorcerer, who is probably significantly less scary than he is in the base game. More fire. Oh, that's an ambush from those Fire 2 Wraiths. This could be game over for Serisan pretty quickly here. ShoFukomachi get lucky so far in not seeing those Fire 2. Oh no, Serisan has to...
That's a course in a trap tile. That's not good. Gets out and finds his silver -3 knife.
Oh, and ShoFukomachi about to get the bad news about these. Get the bad news about these wraiths.
Yeah, this is this ice is unpleasant. Ice is already an unpleasant place.
Sho has the and they have Scorch too, and they have Fire 3.
Those are some hot wraiths.
They are some hot wraiths, but ShoFukomachi here has the ribbon and is probably going to feel a bit more comfortable trying to just single fighter this, because he has a ton of heal pots and he has that fire resistance.
At the very least, oh no.
Oh, stare.
And this is a trap tile to get down, and that's a reset out. Now he knows he doesn't have to touch any of those boxes. He could just hop into a hole and try to see what's in the bottom. But first, you got to get through all of these real nasty encounters.
Yep. Serisan continues to hack his way through this. Both of our runners are going to be beating their heads against this for a while, because there's literally nowhere else to go.
This really comes down to who can weather this ice cave the fastest.
Yep. Oh, another the other problem is that all these wraith packs are really ambush happy.
Absolutely.
So please please enjoy getting fireballed in the face over and over and over.
And if you do make it out, enjoy having any store of peers in your pantry just evaporated.
And to go the race again. Oh, good lord.
Show dealing with something similar. But again, because of that ribbon that Show managed to dig out of Marsh, he's got an edge here. If he can just somehow force through it, he has a very solid chance of getting out of here with the key item and never looking back. The key item being the ship.
Not doing too badly here either. And ShoFukomachi getting down to the basement with 2 fighters up to help absorb all those googly-eyed fish.
They also have Stun Touch and Blaze.
Oh, they have Blaze. Oh, that's incredibly
And
rude.
Frost.
And Frost.
Man, these are awful.
That
so
is
close.
wow.
Show decided
is like,
I'm gonna go elsewhere for a moment.
I'm gonna go check Volcano for a little extra something. And I'm dying to deal with more staring fish outside. Meanwhile, Serisan finding some red dragons with cremate. I'm not quite sure where this is. It got through the and Serisan is the first to find our ship.
The ship is right there. Easy to get.
Oh, that doesn't feel good for Show.
Man.
In Show's context, I like this play, but it's not the right one. Like, unless Serisan gets bounced hard, and he's not even going to check these other chests. He's just like, I want to get out of here. Let my people go.
At the same time, Serisan did check the Volcano Armory previously, and he did find a Sun Sword. That Sun Sword probably helped him get through some of those fights a little bit easier. Yes,
ShoFukomachi is going to be very, very happy to find that Sun Sword. But Serisan getting his loot out and is now just turning on the jets and wants to get out of this horrible inner sea.
So this seems like it's definitely in the hands of Serisan. But knowing that Show's going to find a Sun Sword in here and a load of money and a lot of spell tile flickering.
We should remind our runners that it is a general requirement that you have no spell flicker and no damage tile flicker on for your broadcast races.
Wow. My train of thought is gone. Something. By the time he comes back to ice, he'll have a much easier time with it. Equipped with Sun Sword, Ribbon, he's probably going to fly through ice.
There's a good chance of it. But speaking of flying, Serisan is doing that, but on the waves and running into some fishmen. And from here, I suspect, like I said, Serisan is probably going to dock up on the Northwest Castle River system and is going to go grab that ruby that way, because now he knows that is potentially a very important check.
Alternatively, he might decide to check Earth first, get to a couple levels.
Potentially. Yes, looks like Serisan is deciding rubies are for losers. I'm going to go get myself some levels.
Again,
also,
the salmon stunk anyway.
Also, check this armor shop, because please help. I need to live. I want to keep the blood in my body.
Yes, the red stuff works much better when it's inside.
And Ro64 Pleb asking what level 1 white magic had. It had, among other things, Life 2 and Cure 2, and Life 2 was night learnable.
But our black belt can learn level 1 white spells.
Yep.
So, yeah. Life 2 on the black belts? That's pretty legit.
And it's also helpful because, hey, we have no choice but to use a pair of black belts.
I mean, some people would really enjoy that. As Serisan is about to see what the grind tiles in the Hall of Giants has for us. And it looks like she'll either reset out of Volcano Armory or ended up getting bounced out. He goes back, grabs a heal rod and the Sun Sword. Gonna finish doing his checks.
Serisan finding some what would be reasonably nice grind tiles if we had a sweeper spell.
Sorry, you wanted spells? No. This is Final Fantasy Randomize. When the randomizer decides what you get to play, it doesn't take any prisoners.
No, it doesn't.
It's like, okay, I'll give you life too, but that's it. Don't say I never gave you nothing.
Alright, as Serisan poking his way through these piles of zapping dead things and is, I'm gonna guess, making that play toward ordeals. See if there's potentially some grind tiles or even okay, this is a curious place to go for go back for that ruby. I think it's faster to dock up at Northwest Castle and just go down.
Well, he probably wants to stock up on some supplies real fast. Also, this way, when he decides that he's done with the ruby, he can just sail south to Ordeals. A choice. I would probably go turn that ruby immediately, and this dock is nowhere near that.
Mm-hmm.
But going to Ordeals might not be a horrible idea, because the Ordeals could be the right choice. Because if you don't need that ruby, then great.
Then hooray!
And it looks like, he understands where the ruby is and has still decided, I don't need it, I don't want it, it's nothing, let's go to Ordeals.
I feel like this ruby play could come back to haunt one of our runners. I'm not sure who yet, but I feel like someone is going to end up regretting this move.
I'm pretty sure we're looking at B-side tiles for all of our spike tiles here.
Quite possibly.
Now, the great news about coming in through Ordeals is there's a decent amount of zombie enemies, zombie dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And that Sun Sword is going to do some good work against them.
Yes, it is. That is going to be a reasonable amount of EXP for Serisan as he hits level 10.
Level 10 in Ordeals is good. It's good. This is bad. A Wiz Mummy Pack is awful because of what the mummies have.
Yes, although the mummies are being nice right now. Whatever script they rolled, it isn't using that blaze too often.
Not at all. As we start chucking some hairpins and finding another ribbon.
There. Okay, that's especially bad because that is a ribbon just north of a room that Serisan already checked. He is virtually guaranteed to never ever see that. Whereas ShoFukomachi now has 2 ribbons. That is actually legitimately enormous. Like Serisan is almost certainly going to miss both of these ribbons and is going to just be absolutely struggling with elemental attacks compared to Sho.
It's worth mentioning that the hairpins are very rarely the place people go to check unless we have loose items in our item pool.
Mm-hmm.
It's annoying to get to. It takes a lot of time and often leads to sadness. In this case, it's leading to sadness for Serisan, who, as you said, he's never going to come back here again.
Yeah.
Chat pointing out that this service tile is actually not horrible at this level, as Sho hits level 10 across the board as well. And finding metal slimes in the box.
Oh, With this party, that feels so bad.
We don't have any spells really to take him out. That is
Oh.
I hope that whatever's in that box is not something very, very good.
Yeah, like you take even a mage stick for that. Like you want to take that grind so badly, but you can't.
Just gonna watch all those slimes slip through their fingers.
Pretty much.
Saracen's still trying to get through this pillar maze, and
Pillar maze with no warps at all.
As we check the big curve on show side, and is he going to go for the Titan too?
It looks like Show's deciding to go deep on this in order to get some much needed gear.
Gear, money, something he can sell, anything at this point would be great, because he still needs to rack up at least 43 grand to buy the slab, which could be helpful later on.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized that Serisan has a victory dab sprites, and I
Yes, indeed.
All right, this should be the last round on show side. As he
finds a mage. Oh, he found the mage stick. I wonder, is he going to go back and smash up some slimes? I would be tempted to do so if I was in his position.
It might be a really good idea. Then again, to wipe out here after going through all of this,
that would hurt a lot. Yeah,
I'd probably go lock in my finds first. Trying to get some EXPs in his diet, and they are rather beefy.
Yeah, the EXPs are not something you're going to fight with a mage stick. You're looking for those metal clips.
Heartbreak on Saracen's side. He realizes that it is indeed Pillar 4 that leads the progression, and then his 50-50 shot led him back several steps.
Yeah, I hate to see it.
At least it didn't put him back outside the entry door. That has happened in the past, and that is the worst feeling.
Yeah. I'm actually a little surprised that Serisan went for this check this early, because you know that warp is just not available. I guess the internal logic when you pick to do it is like, oh, okay, warp's not available, let's just do ordeals now and get the suffering out of the way. But there's some other stuff you can check before you subject yourself to this. Like, there's a non-zero chance that, this will lead to, like, white shirt or something, and you might not need to do it at all.
I honestly would rather check ordeals than have to travel all the way up to Waterfall just to realize I didn't need to.
Yep. And meanwhile, ShoFukomachi getting the save in and starting to get those black belts online and making sure to save all that progress that he made so that he can keep that mage stick among many other things.
As Serisan has completed his amazing attempt through the Castle of Ordeals and finds that the spike tile is the cockatrice mummy trap.
Yes, indeed.
He made sure to put down the mummies first. And I can't blame him. Finding a light axe, that's there's something to kind of deal with some undead monsters. Because that will help. Gives you harm 2.
Yes, indeed. And a spammable harm 2 is not a bad thing to have.
And their mummies are like, hey, remember that spike tile? Yeah, we're making up for that as they wipe Serisan out of ordeals. That's
our runners just dealing with endless piles of monster nonsense here. The good news, though, is that if you're running into it here, that means that you're going to see virtually none of this when you actually go into places like Topher. And this increases the chances that the enemies in Topher are basically a whole bunch of kittens.
We're just looking for paper tigers. As Serisan finds a much larger Whizpack.
Yes.
But he's through the maze a lot faster this time.
But now has to deal with these mummies who could decide to be very rude, but they decide not to.
Through it. All right, now Sho is ready. He's got 2 ribbons. He has a sun sword. He has several more levels. He's getting through this river system because he doesn't want to see another Carib again. If he sees another one, it's too soon.
Yes.
He's going to go back to ice. He's going to get his ship. And the question is he going to get the rest of ice?
That's a good question, because he cleared out a whole bunch of volcano, and he has 2 ribbons now, but he's probably still looking for another good fighter weapon. Because
again, just in the same spot.
And if I was Sho at this point, I would be thinking, all right, this whole seed is a trash fire, and I'm pretty certain that Serisan is having all the same problems that I am. So what I'm thinking is find a good weapon for this other fighter, and then grind everyone up to maybe at least like mid-20s or so, and then dan off everyone else, get 1 BB to like, maybe get 1 or both BBs to 32, maybe 42, depending on what you feel like doing. But
if
just make it
trial, absolutely.
Yeah. And then just go completely bonkers on the rest of the seed with no buffs necessary.
Now, if he finds, if he does dig out the rest of ice, and he finds decent armor, he can have both knights, well, eventually knights, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
At the very least, both fighters up there with some beefy armor on, just to try and outlive everybody. And they can res the black belts. If
these knights are going to have Cure 4. Let's not forget that.
Absolutely. They're going to be the best support that these black belts will have, and they're well, that's because that's all they have. But
it's still not a bad healer substitute to have.
Not at all. Especially, it's great to have a healer in the party that can take a hit or 20.
Yes.
And Serisan getting the tail out of ordeals. It's the vanilla, but not the vanilla box. That can't feel good. Knowing that you just went through all of this trouble to pull a tail. That
would be frustrating.
I would be quite tilted, especially because this is like dive number 5 at this point. But if he does decide to focus on the knights only, then yeah, he's set.
And it looks like Sho's deciding to go for it with these cremate reds. Probably knowing he's going to lose the.
Those black belts are going to go down for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of them is. The other will likely eventually. And there you go.
Yeah.
However, Ubi definitely has a ribbon on them. And I think they also have the Sun Sword on them as well. But they're through. And hey, with 2 knights with ribbons, yeah, we're just gonna walk on through. Nobody pay attention to the bright lights on the screen.
Please pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
All right, and the rest of we find a heal, house, some money, soft,
And yes, it looks like Sho is going to full clear ice. Just going for broke on unloot at this point.
It's an absolutely good idea, especially because he still lacks the funds necessary to buy the slab.
This is true. I myself had basically forgotten that the slab was still in play. That is another check that ShoFukomachi could have up on Serisan, as Serisan starts wending his way through the waterfall cave.
Sho finding that the wizards have blizzard. They're blizzards, if you would.
I was going to say.
Well, I figured I would get to it. Someone's going to do it. I may as well do it first. Now,
Okay.
I don't dislike this plate of waterfall. You just got done with ordeals. You're in the area.
Yeah, this is the other logical check to make at this point, especially since we know where Slab is, and at this point, it's starting to look like this is a floater required seed because we don't have Chime and we don't have the Oxyel yet, and we don't have the loot. We don't have the key. We're still 4 items short of go mode. So we're probably going to need to get airborne to find at least one of these things at this rate because we already found the power bomb. We are running out of locations here in the overworld that could actually hold a floater.
Now, Serisan's best hope right now is that the slab and the ruby, which ultimately would lead to Sarda, are the white shirt and well, I was going to say the power bonk, but we already have that.
We found the power bonk. That's the point I was making.
One of these is going to be progression, but which one? As Sho, with ship in hand, technically speaking, leaves ice and makes their way to Provoca. Which I do believe is where that boat will show up.
Yes, it is. And there's the key in Waterfall, which probably means that we have a floater in Corneria locked.
Absolutely. Either floater in Corneria locked or it's a chime.
Yep.
Which
if it's a chime, then that means that Sarda is holding our floater.
Bingo.
And that is actually probably going to scare the pants off of both of our runners because they will be thinking my opponent could have been in the air by the half-hour mark very easily.
This just took a giant twist. Finding that key in Waterfall is definitely going to twist this seed around. And Serisan pulling an Opal -2 bracelet out of a monster in a box chest. That is a great find.
But it's a bit problematic because our fighters cannot equip bracelets.
I mean, yeah, but you could sell it too.
This is true. This is definitely true. But it's not as immediately useful as it might look at first glance.
We're not gonna find a katana in here.
Oh, if only.
And that's a reset out of Waterfall. Back to it we go. As Sho purchases his slab with ship in hand, or ship at port, he's off to see what we have going on in the Melman continent. Or he's going to decide, I haven't found the floater yet. I don't need it. I'm going to go defeat Carrie right now. Nope. We can
Not
come back.
doing Carrie just yet. We're not feeling quite that old. Meanwhile, as Serisan going back in for that item and is having to suffer through these gas dragons that keep getting in his way, as ShoFukomachi doing the full tour of Melmond as he'd been planning to do, and we're coming up on seeing what an old man has for us.
True. However, at the very least, fighting those gas dragons does mean some decent XP.
Mm-hmm. But we're coming up on a moment of truth. We are about to see who is going to start panicking when they actually reach Sarda.
It would be really interesting if Sarda just had a loot.
And if Sarda just has like the loot or the chime, then the only thing that
Canaria locked.
Yeah, Canaria locked could even... Yeah, it would have to be Canaria locked.
Mm-hmm. And yes, everyone say hello to the Out of Bounds Bat.
Hello, Ubat.
Oob. All right, and the Titan Trove tonight has a house, 474 gold, a cabin, and 6820 gold. Well, if Sho needed camping equipment or money, he doesn't now. Serisan making a mad dash out of Waterfall. That's not what you want to see when you don't have any ribbons.
Nope.
Is Thunderstruck Mummies.
Yeah, Serisan is not going to see those two ribbons, and I think that's just going to be more and more of a problem as we continue to go through this seed. And of course, the old man has the crown for us, leading us on an even further wild goose chase of
Fetch quests?
Of fetch quests.
This is this is not what you want to see. You wanted to see progression. You wanted a floater right there in hand, so I can start doing things. Finding a crown makes me go, I got to go back to the inner sea again. I just left.
Yeah, you did, and you're going back now. Please look forward to it.
Good news, we have that free canoe, which makes this so much easier. All right, Astos. I did not see what he had.
Well, we're about to find out in a second, because Astos is not going to be too long for this world against this party.
No, not at all. It's the floater. So, leave to that floater. We will be airborne in about 3 minutes. Please make sure all electronics are turned off and your seats are in the upright position and your trays are locked.
Yes, but like I said, at this point, both of our runners have got to be sweating a little bit, because when they see that floater, they're going to be like, my opponent was in the sky half an hour ago, and now I'm really behind. So I'm expecting to see these runners start to play like men on fire, because they're thinking, I've got to just play out of my mind if I'm going to close this gap that is definitely there and is, not just in my imagination.
Serisan checking the Corneria locked and finding the bottle, and further confirming that he has to go back to Marsh, and I'm certain he is kicking himself right now.
Yes,
because that's the only place left. He was there for earlier, and he decided, I don't need this, and no doubt.
Yeah.
And that if Sho goes on to win this match, that's going to be the point where Serisan realizes he lost.
Yes.
And
this is now very seriously advantage ShoFukomachi, which is also starting to doom the last hope that Vorpalpod had of making it out of the round of 64.
Show is
There's a little bit of Bible thump in chat.
absolutely. All right. Our slab turns into the Oxy Ale.
Yep. So that's required progression. And that is going to mean that this bottle probably turns... Well, bottle could be a couple different things. Yeah.
Loot.
Could be adamant into the loot.
See?
Chime could be either in C or it could be... remember that the... actually, the chime does have to be in C because the chime locks the Mirage Tower. You can find a cube behind the chime, but obviously it can't work going the other way around.
Correct. Not unless we have Entrance Shuffler on, which we don't.
Which we don't. Thank God.
And Serisan grabbing that salmon, and he's gonna walk that out immediately. And
turning out to not be the salmon of doubt after all.
No, it's the salmon of float. Well, the salmon of crowns and floats.
Yes.
And the other option for where our progression lies is that chime could be with the fairy in the bottom of her little oasis.
Yes, it could be.
Which there's a slight chance that Serisan could come back from this. Because he has the bottle, he has a tail. He has...
Although, I have to imagine also that ShoFukomachi is not too far away from that bottle check.
No, he was in the desert. He's going to go do ordeals first, though.
Oh, alright, yeah, so Serisan does have a chance to make some of this time back.
And because Sho's going to go do that ordeals... Sho's just going to walk out with a rat's tail.
Yep.
And
which is a good thing to have in this seed, but it's not the conversion you're looking for. And of course, there's a negative for katana.
When we find the katana, they're always negative.
Yep.
Can we get a special section in the flags of the randomizer that just for the katana, so we can make it actually roll positive for once? Or maybe keep it neutral? That'd be cool. Because I don't always take a thief, but when I do, I want him to have a katana.
Especially if you do 4 forest, and it turns out you have to use nothing but a thief. Oh, that Dark Moon and Reese seed last night was such an absolute dumpster fire. And Serisan decided to take some levels on these Gersharks.
They seem to be a little squishy.
They seem to be kind of squishy, and I totally hate this, but I'm not sure I would take this right now when you have like floater hanging in the balance, and you could find like even better grind spots, or maybe a little maybe like we know where a mage stick is, but Serisan would still be looking to score a caster item, and finding one of those could speed this up significantly.
Absolutely. At the same time, Serisan knows where he has to go, what he has to do, but he's deciding to check this first instead, and I think that is losing the advantage of time that he suddenly gained.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad idea to take this grind, though, because if you can get a couple more levels, you will trivialize a lot of the later events that you end up running into. More monster in the boxes, assuredly. As Sho finally decides that he has to check pillar number 4, and then gets set back just like Serisan did.
Mm-hmm.
However, because he has those 2 ribbons, he's not going to run into the problem Serisan had in getting bounced out repeatedly as he was at the top of ordeals. Or is it the bottom? I don't really know what direction you end up going with these pillars. I think you go up. It's the top. Yes. I remember stairs now.
I remember directions. They're important. No, meanwhile,
If you were Serisan, do you think you on your way back from Sarda you'd go through Earth real fast?
you are in the neighborhood, and it's been an hour, and you still haven't put an orb on the board, so you might be thinking about it at this point.
Especially if you just took some grinds. You want levels. I think I would do it. I think I would do something to make myself feel good, because I avoided a spot for the longest time, and I needed to go there. My opponent obviously went there first. I'm way behind. Let me get on the board somehow. We did see Serisan go into it earlier, I believe. Somebody went into the Hall of Giants and did not find anything.
The first tile was not much. I actually missed what the inner Hall of Giants tile was, and the Earth/Noma tile was just garbage.
Sho grabbing the tail, deciding I'm gonna go ahead and walk this out. So we might see some promotions in the future from either of these runs.
It's entirely possible.
Ooh. Balls of Jericho pointing out that those Zap zombies we saw earlier, they're going to be...
The Zap ghouls, yeah, but they'll only be confined to the upper reaches of Earth. It won't be quite as bad as it would be trying to hack through, like, Marsh. And we're lucky we didn't see any of those in First Temple of Fiends. That would have been, a real spicy way to get bounced off the seat from the start.
Sometimes playing Final Fantasy Randomizer, I feel like I'm playing pinball because I see tilt a lot.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, like both of these runners have got to be out of their minds with frustration at this point. Like, Sho almost certainly feels like terribly behind, especially after this this dud of an Ordeals play. And Serisan just like knows he is behind now.
Sho gonna do the same exact thing that Serisan did before. After grabbing the tail, he's gonna go check Waterfall, and this is gonna procure key. And now
this is important, but it's basically gonna completely even up our runners.
Serisan about to get his floater at the 1 hour, 10 minutes, 30 seconds ish.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna check the floor a couple times, make sure he didn't drop anything important, and he's gonna go.
Yep, and ShoFukomachi chowing down on some nachos.
Wow,
another fight I never disliked taking.
I will tell you this: I hate fighting Hydras because without armor, they hit a lot. They hit hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's a miserable time, and there's always two of them.
ShoFukomachi deciding, nah, I don't want to deal with Hydras right now. I'm just gonna...
No, let's hit reset. Let's try this again. Shuffle some armor around, and yeah, we'll be good. Everything will be fine.
Now heading down toward...
Earth?
Earth? No?
Melbourne? Translate the slab, go turn that in. I thought he did that already.
Yeah, that's where he got his... he's gonna go buy some more armor.
More armor. Good idea.
Yes. He knows where some good armor is and is going to go pick it up.
It's kind of funny. I was just talking, without decent armor, this fight sucks. And it's like he heard me. He's like, I'm going to go get good armor now. Or something. All right. Serisan, popping the floater, popping the ferry, or the bottle with the ferry.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to go see what the ferry has.
Yes, this would be our first ferry check. Oh, ShoFukomachi stopping by in Canaria, not checking that locked location. That's actually big. If Sho forgot about Canaria locked, this could be a problem.
He didn't finish Waterfall. I
No, he
don't
didn't.
think he even got to Waterfall.
No, he did not.
He bounced off the river.
Right. Deciding, I've got some money. I'm going to equip these steel -2s, which is still better. Okay, and the loot is in Gaia, so that is required. And now, so it is slab into Oxyale, and it is going to be adamant in the Sea Shrine that will lead to Chime, and that is Go mode.
Alternatively, straight up just oh no, it has to be that because the white shirt.
Yes, and then it will be white shirt in the Flying Fortress.
I was thinking, maybe it could be the straight up just the Chime and then the adamant to the white shirt, but
it could be that is possible.
Now with this party comp, I really do think they're gonna keep grinding for that white shirt.
Yeah. Either way, though, the white shirt is going to quote unquote be in the Flying Fortress. Like this next check is going to lead to. Or rather, the check in Sea Shrine is going to lead to the Chime one way or another. And Serisan going ahead and checking the locked portions of original Temple of Fiends and finds some Frost Dragons, which again would be a nice... Well, actually, that's actually the worst dragon grind because they're already hard to hit. They are worth crap for EXP compared to like every other dragon. Okay, and Serisan about to get his Oxyale.
I will say that they are a little bit softer and not as resilient as the blue dragons. They suck.
They are incredibly evasive, though. Like even in the base game, they have like frustratingly high evasion, and if they roll up at all with the randomizer settings, they are a nightmare. I can tell you this from personal experience.
Serisan having a hard time getting any encounters. He just found the tough portion of the encounter table.
Yeah,
he's got his long run now.
It seems like both of our runners have had a significant amount of trouble with encounter manipulation this seed. And of course, these Thunder Zombles are not helping either.
Especially when you don't have a ribbon.
Yep, and Serisan's complete lack of ribbons coming into play once more.
That's going to be a reoccurring thing tonight, as Sho grabs his key.
Yep,
and
I'm actually starting to think though, like
I wouldn't be surprised if he just dips out, just like, yep, got a key, bye.
Nope, gonna check a few things, but I'm starting to realize this ribbon situation for Serisan is a bit grim. Like, if you like try to go for or anything less than a 42 BB, like if you try to do the other fiends and whatnot, like the Temple of Fiends Revisited Fiends and whatnot, you're pretty much hoping that Kraken, Tiamat, and Chaos all don't roll or like only lightly roll any of the really nasty elemental skills on top of Nuclear and Nuke.
Right, because at that point you're going to be hoping that you have 2 black belts and you don't need ribbons because they are ribbons.
Yeah, but you need to grind them to that point.
And getting them there with how all the enemies have been rolling so far,
yeah,
it's not looking promising.
Yeah, like we have struggled to find anything that would resemble a decent BB grind, even in a quote-unquote normal seed. And especially in these conditions, that's going to be a struggle for Serisan that ShoFukomachi is just not going to have, because he has 2 ribbons. He can just throw those on his fighters and grind his fighters up and maybe like use his black belts as support and not really care too much. And yeah, there's something like 3 or 4 there's 4 different trap tiles sets in C.
Which
we're going to be taking a look at this, and Frostgators have crack.
I think that's
Come on!
I think that's bad.
Oh, come on! And
heat?
yep.
Just open up a portal to the underworld. Why don't you?
I also want to point out, unless ShoFukomachi has a ribbon on one of those black belts, that fighter, I think, might have gotten cracked through a ribbon.
It's very likely. Then again, knowing that I have life on a black belt, I probably have at least one ribbon on a black belt, so they can at least pick them up.
Fukumachi once again thinking, I don't, please no, but like, I'm sorry, my man, the progression that you need is right there. Like, okay, he's finally remembering that, thanks to the awesome power of crack gators, he's remembering that bottle is the Canary locked and bottle is a thing.
Yeah, he's decided, you know what, I don't need this right now. I'm gonna go see what fun stuff we have inside of the Canary lock. Now that I got the key, I'll come back and deal with this when I need to. Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's only a few minutes away from getting the bad news about what we need to do with Waterfall and Sea here.
And so this has put Serisan tentatively in the lead. As Sho is also going to take a look at Toph.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm still really kind of hand-wavy about like Serisan's elemental defense situation here.
What if this is a Masamune? What if this is another ribbon?
It could be.
I mean, he's definitely checking it for the grind tile. Absolutely. But this could help him get through those annoying gators. And they have very low health. If you can.
Yeah, they do have very low health. They still have frustratingly high amounts of evasion. That's these black belts are missing entirely. Like the fighter missing entirely, and like these are not the lowest level black belts in the universe anymore. But that is still that is still a pretty decent amount of EXP.
You didn't check the chest, Sho.
Oh, Sho, please. Well,
just Sho. Come on.
Sho doesn't care quite so much. I think he's ultimately agreeing with me that is not the world's best grind, just because of how frustrating it is. But he did not yet check the grind tiles in Northwest Castle, so he is going to check that and get another pack of bad news.
Again, Serisan has already been here, done this.
Yep.
So right now, Sho is retreading water that's already been tread.
Mm-hmm.
It's costing him some time, but the payoff might be good if he can find that one tile.
Yeah.
So where would I go next for a tile? You know what?
There's finding a big plate of wings here in the basement of Sea Shrine.
Oh, I think I'd do a desert grind right now if I was Sho.
That's what it's looking like. Because you know that the those frost gators do tell you one thing, that those sandworms have probably had their crack rolled away from them. So that's going to make them pretty squishy.
And if not, there's just going to be Tyros out there. There's going to be some T-Rexes. Mm-hmm. And with this party, he could probably take them down and still have at least somebody standing at the end to reap the benefits.
Yep.
Do that a few times and cycle stuff
Sho,
out.
However, getting the bad news about what's got to be in
Sea.
In Waterfall and Sea.
Yeah. Well, he got the key out of the waterfall.
Yep.
But Sho now has the wonderful lute in hand, so he can make beautiful, beautiful music.
Mm-hmm.
As he cries out to the RNG gods, is why are these gators so unbelievably tough?
And Sho thinking about that shark grind, but decided no Sharknadoes are in my future today.
All right, Show's going back to Toph, deciding, you know what? Best thing I've seen so far? Frost Dragons. What am I going to beat up? Frost Dragons.
I'm going to punch some Frost Dragons.
We might see what's in the box.
Entirely possible. And I do want to point out that mage stick is also not awful against these things because, unless I'm mistaken, Frost Dragons are weak to fire.
They should be, in theory. I mean, if Pokemon taught me anything, it's you want to use fire against ice.
Yep.
All right, Sharknado Room has a bunch of bugs.
It is a very dirty Sharknado room.
It's quite nasty. Hasn't been cleaned in ages.
Been cleaned in ages.
And we got Frost Dragons in the monster box. We got Dueling Frosties.
Not sure what starting to get to show the black belt ready for a grind, I guess.
I don't hate it. So apparently the Frost Dragons are weak to lightning. Waters are weak to ice. And nothing at all makes sense in Final Fantasy 1.
Fair enough. And also, Serisan finding more Frost Dragons down there in a chest in Sea Shrine.
But he gets the dragon armor. -2. That's not bad, but at this point your black belts aren't online.
Yeah.
With how everything's rolling, I need and I haven't found a single ribbon yet. I need my black belts to be just One Punch Man.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, pack of lobster.
This is
Anything bad yet?
You really, really wish you had a freaking
Lightning spell?
yeah,
Ice
you
spell?
really wish you had some form of lightning here to clean this out, because this is strictly speaking a really good tile to take.
Absolutely. It's just a random encounter, and there's a Zeus Gauntlet, there's a Thor Hammer in existence. We haven't seen either yet.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I feel like I find so many more things that can cast lightning than I ever want, and it's unfortunate. I just want a stick that casts Exit or Warp, please.
Please makes us item magic randomization a standard part of tournament seeds. Admins, please.
All right, as Show's taking this grind, it looks like he's definitely going to focus on Show, but Bryn might actually benefit here too. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with having 2 black belts that can hit really hard and a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
when they use
fast.
Yeah. Especially when you don't have fast, and they're your source of life too.
So the only way to hit twice as much is to have twice the amount of things that are punching. And we're gonna power block. We're just gonna hold some things up and hope the Frost Dragon decides to help us dan down some of our light warriors.
Yes, indeed. This is specifically trying to dan everyone else off to get Show the black belt like really going up to level 21, where he can think about actually killing a whole bunch of these Frost Dragons on his own.
Absolutely, especially since the fighter has decided that he needs to get ripped right now.
Yep.
And he's just pumping iron.
Speaking of pumping iron, though, Serisan going up to a squid for the first time this seed and seeing if it's Tentacle Day.
All right. Well, starting with power bonking. And a normal punch, 2 hits, 47 damage, not bad.
And ShoFukomachi running into the fact that Frost Dragons are very evasive. Oh, this is looking really spooky. There we go.
Woo! Show really happy he made it through that.
Yeah.
Now he
Boy,
can
doing no damage to poor Kraken here at all.
Kraken
Level 1. Yeah.
Just squishing the heads of the Light Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we might be able to get through this.
Oh boy. Oh, not casting spells at all.
No, just all punch. When you have this many arms and legs, you may as well use it. And that's a wipe out of C. You hate to see it.
Yeah, that is a big old wiperino. And also, Sho is taking advantage of the fact that while it is not an elemental weakness, fire still hits the frost dragons neutral.
And let's give a nice welcome to Groggy Dog and his raiding party.
Yes, indeed. You are joining us for a massive trash fire here on Speed Gaming 4. This is ShoFukomachi versus Serisan, and it has been a magical adventure. I have gotten to cast 2 different trash fires on 2 different days. I'm not sure if I'm blessed or deeply, deeply cursed.
Man, I
agree with Retro Gaming 2884. Like this. Dragon grinds are one of the spookier grinds that you can do for a black belt, and this is just, this is too spooky for me. Like every single one of these pulls, he goes down below 100 health, and I'm just like, I'm just sitting here with my face making the dance game emote, and yeah.
Ooh, and we dropped some kind of save.
Mm-hmm. That was a house save.
That's a good save. Save on healing potions is what that was.
Yep.
And Serisan checking the final floor, the final room of the mermaid floor, and not finding anything good. I don't think. A lot of money.
Okay. Sho getting more and more absorbed on this black belt. I am 99% certain that this one is going all the way to level 42, and also those frost dragons have less than 125 HP, which is the main thing that this that is making this grind work at all, because you are all but guaranteed to get those down in two fire stick uses. But meanwhile, we have worms over on Serisan's side.
I blinked. I look over at the other screen to consult notes, and I turn back, and suddenly purple worms. And he got through them.
Yep.
Those worms looking less scary than these frost dragons, surprisingly.
Yep.
And they were worth decent XP too. As that mage staff is doing the work we need it to.
Mm-hmm.
And we were dropping below 100. Nah, we're staying above 100 now. This is this grind is starting to pay off. All right, a couple more boxes in here. And there's the adamant. Gonna go contract out a dwarven smith to maybe turn it into a chime. Now we just gotta get out of here. Now, I don't know if I would go back against Kraken yet, or if I would come back later when I'm a little bit stronger. But I'm thinking, you know, Kraken hits real hard. I'm gonna go ahead and hold off on that for a second. Probably go find a grind tile. We still haven't seen Serisan take much more than a handful rather of fights on some sharks and great sharks, which helped him a little bit, but it really it's not the levels that ShoFukomachi is getting to, and is Sho's trying to walk out and lock in his progress so far. All right, we got Serisan on the way back out. Probably going to go out, hit the inn, and or walk out and drop a house. That's probably a better option. And yeah,
to answer Superpleb's question in chat, prior to 32, it probably wouldn't be faster, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see Sho grind this 1 BB to 32, and then transition from the Frosty grind to a hold a Sharknado grind, because it's a bit safer and it's much simpler and like faster on the inputs. And yep, we get Adamant into Chime, and at 1:33:40 and change, Serisan is in go mode and is heading straight for sharks.
Awesome. While the sharks are gonna help get him up there, it's not. I would probably find something a little bit meatier, and then probably start lighting orbs, because fighting those fiends does net a decent amount of XP, especially when you have all of these items.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, our competing grinds are starting up here. We will get to test the old adage of first to grind is first to win. It has not always been true in this year's spring tournament, but this is a very unusual situation that we find ourselves in this seed.
Now, the part that kills me is what's in the box, Sho? What's in the box?
What's in the box?
What's in the box? Just open the box, please. It could be a pack of gas dragons. It could be a pack of metal slimes. Just show us what's in the box, Sho. It's the third ribbon. Yeah, I think so too.
God, it was the third ribbon. Like, that is still the number one advantage that Sho has here. Like, he is going to have magic defense and ribbons coming absolutely out of his orifices once he finishes grinding up Sho the BB.
Now, the Gersharks are not danning down the party as fast as Serisan would like.
No.
This is like his fourth round, and the Gersharks are just dying so fast.
Yeah, like he needs to like sit there. He needs to sit there using items for a little bit if he really wants to do this, because he's already so fast that he is consistently outspeeding these gray sharks. Like, you know, we talk about, you know, wanting to do Topher in like your high 20s, or even, you know, get 30 on some folks, or like a 42 BB, you know, for the randomized Tiplafines revisited that we sometimes have to put up with. But like mid 20s in the vanilla game, and if the monsters don't get their stats randomized too much, mid 20s is like deep end game level in the original Final Fantasy 1.
And it goes to 50. Like,
yeah.
That's 20s is end game, and it goes to 50. That is some bad scaling. Like Final Fantasy 1 is a broken game, but we love it really.
Yeah, but like that's just the thing. He's looks like he's satisfied with only danning off the one fighter though. But let's see.
I don't know what his plan was, but he might be trying to
Sho!
oh no. Oh. Hey, Sho, you're level 34 now. How about pick something less scary? Like, I was just thinking, you know what we need right now? Is we have Serisan, who's in Light the Orbs and Go. We have Sho, who's doing his grind. He just has to go down to C, grab his chime, and ultimately grab his chime, and then he's there too. What we need now is them to find a better grind spot. This isn't it. Like, there is a thing called the Bridge of Destiny, and a bunch of good enemies along that bridge, including one war mech. And right now, I think either of them could easily handle war mech. To the point where Serisan could keep his whole party alive and handle war mech and do a 4-party grind on war mech.
It's entirely possible.
Sho could probably just punch war mech at this point with this black belt to be fine.
Yeah, like this black belt is already an engine of destruction when it's not solo against 4 dragons. Because, as it turns out, these 4 dragon packs, and this is from Temple of Fiends Revisited, those 4 dragon packs are incredibly scary. That is a lot of damage.
Yeah, they hit way too hard. It's not.
And the frost dragons are the easy ones.
I would honestly, I would attempt if I was Sho, I would start fighting off some of the. I would go to Earth, finish that out, hit up the volcano. By that point, I'm ready for the. I'm ready for water shine again.
Granted, a Sho is also not too far off from 42, and I assume as soon as that happens, everyone else is coming up, and Sho is just going to absolutely hit the afterburners. Like, he is going to... He knows where that chime has to be, and he is going to go pick that up as soon as possible, and is going to just start tearing through content once this black belt becomes One Punch Man.
Absolutely. Regardless, Sho is he's moving on. I think we are about to go see something. I think he's gonna pick everyone up here. Now, why? No, never mind.
Picking up some heal pots. Because Canaria does not have heal pots.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I missed that part. That's what happens when well, I guess now is a good time to tell this story while we're still grinding, apparently. At the beginning of this race, before the race started, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get up and stretch a bit. I just got done doing comments from another race. Gonna relax a second before I have to get in again. And then I tried to open my door, and I couldn't. The lock broke, and I was locked inside. And the screws to the lock are on the outside, and all my tools are inside. It's a good time.
So what you're saying is that you definitely have not classed into Thief.
No. And I did not class into Fighter or Black Belt. However, I did class into Red Mage, and I was able to actually, no, Summoner. I classed into Summoner, and I summoned somebody on the other side of the door to take the doorknob off, and I'm free once again.
Money Mercs, you missed the party selection being 4 forced, and what you see in front of you is what got spit out for our runners to work with. This is a pair of black belts who can use white magic, and a pair of fighters that cannot equip bracelets. And yes, Awful Ice and Marsh and both were completely necessary. Like the inner sea dungeons were really, really mean to our runners tonight.
It was definitely the lengthiest set of fetch quests just for the inner sea that I've ever seen, and requiring certain places to absolutely be needed. It was awful. And
Serisan finally danning everyone else off and going for this hold a Sharknado grind.
Well, let's see how much XP we pull. Less than 10,000.
But, however, it is faster and significantly more stress-free than the Frost Dragon grind.
True.
But Sho started grinding earlier and is one level away from One Punch Man status.
Higher the risk, higher the reward. Sho's going to get where he needs to go much sooner.
Yep.
All right, Serisan has hit 32. Does he carry on?
I would say yes. Unless you somehow want to try and get both BBs to 42, 32. Nope, we are going to go to 42. All right. And with this, I believe I need to punch one dragon. Punch. And with that, ShoFukomachi is online, and it is time to start beating up fiends.
Sho has figured out the answer to life, the universe, and everything. And that is 42.
Yes, it is.
And now we're going to go pick everybody up. Grab, well, we don't need any houses. Pick people up. I'd go promote. Why not? Make sure that my my knights can get life and
you've also got that. So the thing that you could do if you are a runner named ShoFukomachi, you have a dragon armor. You could put a ribbon on your non-42 black belt and use them primarily as a life caster. Put a ribbon on the other knight, and then for elemental resistance, you can use the dragon armor on knight number 1. And you are covered for most damage attacks.
You know what?
You have enough life too to cover any disasters with anything else.
I absolutely love that. It's a brilliant idea. And when I first started commenting, I'm like, I barely have experience of being the Duckling Derby that just happened, and what little experience in the spring tournament I had. There's no way I'm going to be able to get into the racers' heads and figure out what they're doing. And yet, here a Sho doing exactly what we just said we would do. It's amazing that we have this forced party that actually looks very viable now.
Yeah, like it took us an hour and 45 minutes to get there, but it's looking pretty good now. And Retro Gaming pointing out that Sho still needs the chime. That's not really going to be an issue, though. Like, ShoFukomachi knows where the chime basically is at this point. Like, it has to be down in Sea Shrine. He knows this by now, or he knows that one way or another it's going to be in Sea Shrine, and so he just needs to pick up the minimum number of chests needed to find the chime, which Serisan had to do anyway, and then he's golden. And these other 3 dungeons, he can just go mode all of them.
Sho to knock out Volcano while he's here.
We seem to be getting a number of folks joining the chat to check out this race, and yes, welcome again to SpeedGaming 4 and the Final Fantasy Randomizer Chaos Comedy Tour Spring Tournament 2021. We are watching Serisan versus ShoFukomachi, and because we did 4 force party members with the seed generator in itself giving us a party, you see what our runners have had to work with in terms of a party composition. These are black belts that can use level 1 white magic, but that's about all we had before we promoted. Bringing up BB number 2 over on Serisan's side. I'm not... because one of them already hit level 42, and I'm guessing we want to get this other one to 32 for a little bit of safety. I actually don't... So I don't agree with this. If you want to get some extra levels on folks, promote your fighters and get them some levels so they have spell charges. ShoFukomachi is relying on picking up a couple fights along the way to get his knights a couple of spell charges, and that's probably the way to do it. But if you're going to continue to do any grinding at all, you really want your fighters up, which to his credit, Serisan has done that and is apparently not going to promote at all. I don't know how I feel about that play.
Well, at 1 hour.
When can you miss it? And ShoFukomachi has gotten our first orb lit at around 1:48 and is already storming into into the Earth Cave, like hot on Serisan's heels with an orb already lit. Like both of our runners are, reaching their go moment, and like the one advantage that Serisan still has is that he already has that chime, but that advantage could disappear really fast, especially since ShoFukomachi has 2 ribbons to Serisan's zip.
Sho also, because he took that time to promote, he can equip some much better armor on his knights.
Yes.
And also has those spell charges learned by his knights. So once a couple levels that his knights get from fighting the fiends should just be enough for that emergency life cast or invis cast, because he did remember to pick up both. All right, Serisan gonna make short work of a vampire, and Sho immediately behind him.
Yep. Both of our runners really wanting to hit the gas at this point.
The winner of this race is going to go on to face off Freiteeth. So,
I'm sure neither one of these runners is looking particularly forward to having to fight a veteran like Freiteeth, especially on the back of an absolute dumpster fire like seed like this. Like this is the sort of seed that just leaves you like weary for a while.
I imagine that whoever wins this is gonna take a couple days to rest and forget that Final Fantasy ever was made.
Shimbabi, Adamant into Chime is in Sea Shrine. Serisan has already done a dive of Sea Shrine to look for it. ShoFukomachi has not done that yet, but can easily just pick it up on his way.
And Serisan defeating Lich at the 151 mark, with ShoFukomachi is behind him at about 16 seconds.
Shimbabi, no, it is on the mermaid side. So to say it's on the way is a little inaccurate. Like, Sho is going to have to, is probably going to check the chests on the way down to Kraken, get the bad news, punch a Kraken, and then is going to have to briefly turn around.
All right, Sho going back up to meet his nemesis once again. Hopefully not running it. He's not taking the river system this time because nobody wants to do with crack gators.
Nope. And yeah, we're gonna see who ultimately has the lead. It's been bouncing between both of these runners for this entire seed.
Now, Sho knows that the chime or adamant, which is more likely for him, is absolutely here in C, but he doesn't know where. Yeah. So, what side do you take first?
Like I said, you go down to Kraken, and you pick up the chests on the way to Kraken. Yep. Well, you pick up the chests on the way to Kraken, and you hope you're getting lucky. And then if you don't find it, you're making a frowny face, and you're going back in and trying to do mermaids as fast as humanly possible.
Now, I like the idea of doing mermaids first, only because when you don't have any kind of mobility spells like warp or exit, doing mermaid first ensures that if it's there, great. You found it, you can move on. You don't have to touch anything else.
If you don't find it, you can reset out.
You reset out, you know it's on the other side, and you're good. You don't have to go back into that place ever again. You can just straight to the orb and out.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, with these levels, I probably would just go ahead and stomp Kraken.
Yeah, like these levels make what Sho is doing very tempting, and the odds of the item being on this side are not awful. So it is a play that makes sense from Sho's perspective, even if we in the audience know it is not the correct one.
Absolutely. As Serisan is battling waters that apparently have sleep touch. And
that could make getting down to Kraken 2 a little bit frustrating, at least. And GP 520, we'll have to see if it takes 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's looking like it's going pretty quickly at this point.
Whoever the answer to who is going to win, though, is still quite up in the air.
Yes.
All it takes is one bad Topher, and suddenly we're back to the drawing board.
Ooh, and Sho taking that fight with the Grey Naga and getting the news that it's pretty tough, as they usually turn out to be pretty beefy.
Serisan manages to take down Kraken in so few hits that I blinked and it was gone.
Yep.
So it looks like Serisan's other black belt is approaching level 32 as well. So
well,
to have
GP,
no need
to answer GP 520's question in chat, last night did not have a level 42 black belt, and that is a whole other galaxy of power compared to what Dark Moon and Reese had to work with last night in that that Oreo Ninja comp that they both ended up having to use. Like a level 42 black belt really is hold A and win on virtually every fight in the game. Even like the only thing that could that could be really nasty for Serisan at this point, since we don't have fast, admittedly. So a high absorbed chaos that goes some flavor of nuke, and then like a physical attack or some other kind of like relatively heavy damage ability. That is the only thing that can stop that level 42 black belt in its tracks at this point.
Shun points out something I was about to point out. If any of the fiends, especially Chaos, comes out with a slow spell, that's going to be bad news, because that's going to take your already rather low punching, low hitting party to extreme levels of slowness, and it's going to just be brutal.
And yes, Caleb, some members of the chat were skeptical, but I still have questions about Serisan trying to do this with no ribbons whatsoever.
Well, he's counting on that one black belt really to carry.
Yeah.
But he's go moding Sky right now, and it's the right choice.
Yes, Serisan has no reason to not just hit the burners at this point, and that is exactly what he's doing. And speaking of hitting the burners, ShoFukomachi is now introducing Kraken to the way of the fist, and gets through without much trouble at all. And get some levels on those knights that they are going to appreciate quite a bit. And unfortunately, Sho has gotten the bad news. He needs to go back in for that for that adamant. And so
he's got to go down to the murder floor to do it, and it's in one of the deep chests, if I recall.
Yes, it is in the middle top 2 chest, unless I'm very mistaken.
I honestly don't remember, but Serisan is on Tiamat, and Tiamat not gonna. Well, there goes one fighter. Just gonna say Tiamat not gonna put up much of a fight as one fighter drops, and then there goes Tiamat. All right, Sho is not gonna bother with TFC. He instead is gonna go for the TFC North.
Yep, going for TFC number 2.
Yes, the other TFC.
As Serisan goes storming into a volcano, 1 orb away from Topher.
This is going to be a fast walk.
Serisan has no reason to slow down or even heal.
I was going to say, I don't think he's even going to heal when he gets to carry.
Yeah.
He's just going to keep punching on, and he's through. Here's TFC.
We're actually taking TFC, and it is I'm surprised that that Sho is taking this fight, because the adamant cannot be in a monster box.
Then again, it didn't take much long. He finds some money and he's out. That was a check it, hold A, think, and keep moving. He's gonna probably last location this adamant and be upset.
Yep.
Yeah, this is just hold A to get through it, because at this point, fighting through it probably gonna be faster than trying to run. And you never know. There's the added benefit of I could find opal armor, or I could find a Masamune, or the third ribbon. Who knows?
That genie problem. Yeah, that's pretty much what it comes down to at this point. Like, Sho's path to victory involves Kraken, Tiamat, or Chaos having enough nasty stuff in their spell pool that a level 42 black belt a level 44 black belt can't quite get the magic done, and it's a 42 black belt for Serisan, but that a level 42 black belt can't quite get the music done, and the ribbons come into play.
Well, Sho has found a flame -2 shield and a flame +4 sword, and he threw that on one of his fighters. I just realized his level 42 black belt that he spent so much time grinding on is wearing like all of the armor.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably why those blue dragons were doing such significant damage to him earlier. Sorry, not blue dragons, frost dragons. I totally read what I saw on the screen. But we're just digging out a bunch of rather useless items right now. But once Sho finds it, he's in go mode. However, we are stepping into the past on Serisan's side, and this race might be over real quick, folks.
Yep, it's either going to be over very quickly, or this Topher is going to be as much of a dumpster fire as the rest of the season's been, and we're going to be in for some hilarity until ShoFukomachi comes storming in here with multiple ribbons and all the bling you could possibly ever want to see. That black belt on show side is 45 now. That's absolutely mental.
Are we going to see 50 before we get to Chaos?
Probably not going to see that. Virtually last location that adamant. Ouch.
We have the adamant. We're not touching anything else. We are leaving, as Captain Price would say.
Yep.
And yeah, the waters don't want to leave, but no, we're going. And see, this right here is why I always check mermaids first, unless I have warp or exit, because all that time I spent looking down the Kraken side could have been avoided, unless you know it wasn't there, and or it was there, and I have to go through it anyway. But at least now I don't have to try to walk out.
To address chat, it is, as a language professional, I can very much tell you that it is indeed pronounced Masamune. It is 4 syllables, very much so.
Something I picked up a long time ago from somewhere, and I don't remember what, but I was little and it stuck. Just don't call it the Masa money, because that means you're gonna sell it, and you don't ever sell that. Toss it out of the sky.
Fling it out of the sky window.
All right, Sho is turning in his request for a chime with the Smith, and that puts Sho officially in go mode.
At
just got to go to
08, but the Serisan is storming into Kraken 2 now.
Sho has to hope that Serisan encounters a lot of spellcasters that just wreck his party to the point that he cannot carry on.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's not looking great because we got a very healthy party. They're all surprisingly high level because of all those full party grinds he took earlier.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it absolutely has to be like a double nuke or something on Chaos at this point. Like, that's about the only thing that could threaten this party, and it would have to high roll on every single member. Although the only other thing is that
it doesn't look like that's going to happen, sadly.
Kraken 2 does not even have enough in the tank to one-shot a fighter. Now, the fighters on Serisan's side don't have any spells, and that's another advantage that ShoFukomachi would have in theory, but in practice, there's a question of just how much that even matters. And at fighter goes down. On Serisan's side, though, that's planned, because we've got the life 2s on those black belts, and we can just that's basically a health pot. We're to the point that we're using life 2 as a health pot.
I don't hate it. I like it. All right, let's see if Tia has anything more to say on the subject. Knight comes out 3 hits, 110. 2 hits, 110. 4 hits, 249.
That's a very, very absorby Tiamat, but it doesn't seem like Tia has much else in the tank.
Well, let's see if Tia has anything to offer. Never mind. Nope. We got that black belt to swing for like 762 damage, 5 hits, and Tia is toast.
Yep. And on we go to Chaos. If you are a ShoFukomachi fan, you are hoping for the worst Chaos we've seen all tournament. Because otherwise, Serisan is going for it. Just holding A and praying. Fire 3, doing Fire 3 things. F2, attacking, doing 5 damage. B2, attacking, doing 78. F1, not much.
596.
596.
4 critical hits out of that black belt.
Ice 2, doesn't matter. B1 doing 376 damage. Okay, we're getting up towards a little less than half of the vanilla health pool. 3 damage. Here's nuke number 1. But it manages to get resisted a whole bunch. We're still fine. B1 doesn't manage to do a whole bunch of damage, but we're still looking pretty safe. We're gonna pump some heal. We're going for those heal pot strats. 392 stun, power word stun going out. Doesn't find anything because we're over 300 HP. More fights going out. 102 damage. 25.
Something.
Damage poison. Doing a little bit of damage, but not much. 707 and terminated. And with an official race room time of 2:07:56. Your winner for this race is Serisan. Let's see those GGs, because this was a hell of a seed.
Oh my. Well, we didn't get to see it due to the excitement, but Show found Warmech, and I think gave Warmech the business.
Yep. And meanwhile, we are joined by Serisan. GG, man. Like, you're out there keeping the hopes of Warplepod alive, but holy hell, what a mountain you had to climb to do it.
Yeah, well said. Well said.
Yeah, mood. So, like, are you still sane, Serisan? Like, are you just completely tripped out on adrenaline and fear at this point, or like?
I think you saw where I tilted out of my mind.
I could identify at least half a dozen points where that happened. But...
Was it back when you had to go get the salmon from a box?
Yes, it was. That was exactly it, and I knew when that happened. I'm like, oh no, this was the progression. Oh no,
oh no. I actually at that point, Show was storming through the seed a little bit, and I was wondering about your chances at that point, but Show ultimately opted for a somewhat less optimal grind strategy involving those frost dragons in Toph 1 and using like the mage stick as opposed to just diving all in on Sharknado.
So yeah, those Gersharks on the tile in Northwest were I mean, they were as good as we were going to get.
Yeah.
I know, I looked. But, you know, the nice thing was they just rolled paper hit points. They were, it was so sad losing the agility up front from having a fighter there to, you know, going from, hey, I'm ambushing all the time and they're not taking any attacks. And that's why I can't Dan my characters off to, man, they're ambushing me and getting initiative and turn order every time. So it slowed down a bit, but you know, once you get your Saitama, you just do the thing. And I'll tell you what, even as I was going through Topher, there were some scares. Like, is this enough? Do I need to go promote those knights and get them spell charges? Like I was second guessing myself the whole time. And what really sunk it in for me was when I started hitting, I think it was, Lich was just beefy. Yeah. But I think Tiamat being so evasive.
So absorptive. I didn't think that you were going to get through it very easily. And I was waiting for, like, you know, the nukes to start coming out.
Yeah, when B1 hit 2 hits for 2 damage...
Yeah,
my heart just about stopped. It was.
I was surprised
that Tiamat can tank a 42 black belt. That's new.
I'm honestly surprised that Slow didn't show up because that would have been the most detrimental thing.
Yeah, and I knew that it was all gas all the time for me since I didn't have anything to work with. Utility-wise, other than the power gauntlet. And I mean, a couple saber casts aren't going to keep me alive if it's a punchy chaos or like, I gotta power through, and if I can't power through,
yeah. But Serisan, I do have to ask, what possessed you to only check the bare necessities of well, you didn't check all of Marsh because you found the salmon there at the top. But was there a particular reason that you didn't check more of Armory floor in the volcano?
Well, I mean, I checked the armory, I checked the free chest. I didn't have any reason to check the hairpins.
So,
well, the hairpins, yeah.
fun
That's where the
news,
ribbons all were.
there was a ribbon immediately north of the armory in the hairpins.
Yeah.
And then the top right room of that bottom marsh room was another ribbon.
Yeah. So Sho had 2 ribbons on you, and we were wondering for most of the race whether or not that was going to be a deciding factor, because Sho did not have some of the skill and casting trouble that you kept running into because he got those 2 ribbons within the first hour.
Yeah, that would have made a big difference. Yeah. I will say the mummies with thunder.
Yes.
They were...
Sho had almost no trouble with the mummies at all because of those ribbons.
And I lost, 3-4 dives in ordeals to them?
Yes.
Ah! Yeah.
Oh,
For the tail.
that was another moment of instant tilt that we saw when it took you 4 tries. It took you so long just to get through the maze, and then to get to the very end, find the tail, and then get wiped out.
Mm-hmm.
I would.
I walked the tail out, but I wiped about 5 steps from the tail twice.
That's what it was. Yeah. It was gut wrenching to know that you did that, because with how this seed rolled, nobody was going to get warp, nobody was going to get exit. It was a shame the whole time, and I saw that and I'm like, oh, man, this must be pinball, because I'm seeing a whole lot of tilt.
Okay, and ShoFukomachi is up against Chaos and ran into that nuke. ShoFukomachi is doing some Cure 4 things, but punches from 464 and with an official race time of 2:14.42. ShoFukomachi has finished this race, but sadly is officially done with the spring tournament.
We'll get him in here momentarily. Hello.
And we are joined by ShoFukomachi. GG, man.
Thank you. How's it going?
I'd ask you how it's going because you just put yourself through the ringer.
Oh my god. So many, early terrible things, that had spells that just killed everybody. Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about...
It was as much of a dumpster fire as that For Forest promised it would be.
I rolled the seed last night where I wiped the Chaos, and Tia 2, Kraken 2, and Chaos all had nuke, and I was like, really? And I was like, well, I want to play it safe, so I grinded out, to 42, and and then, yeah.
So, interesting little factoid. You were the only one to find those ribbons in this race.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Serisan actually bounced out of Marsh early and didn't pick up that ruby until much later. So for a while, we were actually thinking that you had a significant advantage with the ribbons and actually getting ruby.
Oh. Yeah, Marsh Cave was annoying because something had Fire 2 or something that just kept my party.
But the big thing I want to ask, and I think if you go back and watch the race back, might have been a deciding factor in terms of speed. What made you choose the 4 Frost Dragon grind over the Sharknado in Northwest Castle?
I think Well, it was a toss-up. I thought about doing the Gershark tile, but I mean, 4 Frost Dragons, well, they were paper. Once I found out they were paper, even though they hit really hard and had high evade, like if I could survive a few of those, it would be quicker because they just gave a crap ton more experience, I think. So, and it ended up, not a fast grind, and I did wipe twice. Or a few times, and so... Whew. But yeah, it was... and I definitely wanted to go to 42 because I just didn't want to take any chances of something, like a double nuke or whatever.
Yeah.
So... And I'm surprised that a lot more enemies didn't run away with a 42 black belt in the front of the party.
You'd think that, but nope.
Phew. Yeah.
Nightmare Phoenix, you have any questions for either of our runners?
I felt for both of you the whole time. I cannot put myself in your shoes because I probably would have ripped them off, thrown them into the dumpster fire that seed was, and found a place that served high-priced cocktails for cheap. And spend my night there because that was awful. But it made for great entertainment. It was wonderful to watch, and I'm very happy that both of you finished it. GG's to the both of you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right. Well, if we don't have any other questions going, I think it's time for final thoughts as Serisan advances to the round of 32 with the hopes of Vorpalpod riding on his shoulders, and sadly, ShoFukomachi's spring tournament run this year ends here. So, Serisan, let's start with you. Do you have any final thoughts for us?
Well, first off, GG show. This was a trash fire. I was looking forward to a 4-force trash fire at some point in this tournament. I think I got my quota. I don't know how I feel about going into the next round with something like this popping up. But yeah, I appreciate the race. This is a good one. I definitely thought I had lost for about 40 minutes straight. And yeah, it's good to have gone through this with you. I do want to thank our commentators, Nightmare Phoenix, Space Drake, our tracker, Shadowed Flames. Thank the community for coming out and watching. And yeah, if you like what you saw, or if you're at least intrigued at the possibilities of something nicer than what you saw, come join the Discord. FinalFantasyRandomizer.com, you'll have a link to the Discord. You can check out all of the stuff that we've been doing here. It's a good time. It's a good community.
All right, and any comments from you, Sho?
Yeah, GG Serisan. Good luck for the rest of the tournament. I look forward to all the other matches. I'm sad that my time ends here in this tournament, but it's farther than I think I have been since the very first spring tournament, so I'm pretty happy about that. I can't complain about my performance today or any of the previous performances. So, but thanks SpeedGaming and all the other networks that are hosting the tournament, and I look forward to future events. So yeah, great community. Join the Discord, hang out. It's awesome. And thank you again, Nightmare Phoenix and Space Drake for commentary, and tracking all the good stuff.
All right, and so Nightmare Phoenix, any final thoughts as we see everyone on out of here?
As always, huge thanks to SpeedGaming 4 for letting us host this here. Big thanks to Shadowed Flames for covering for me whilst I attempted to break out of my room. That's a whole fun story that the two will get to listen to when you watch this back. And as always, we do have the Duckling Derby coming up soon. We have the boot camp starting Monday. So again, if this does sound interesting, this is the time to get in. Come join our Discord. Lots of lovely people, very friendly, very helpful, and get involved. Even if you just want to do this casually, lots of good resources there. So that's all I have. I'll go ahead and pass it back to you if you have any final thoughts, Space Drake.
Well, my final thought is that I have done 2 2-hour plus dumpster fire stream seeds in as many days, and I think I'm starting to see like Final Fantasy player sprites orbiting my head. But beyond that, it has been an absolute privilege to be a caster for these races this weekend, and GG once again to both Serisan and ShoFukomachi. Thank you very much to SpeedGaming for hosting these races on the Chaos Comedy Tour, especially since, I'm sure that these long races are messing with schedules a little bit. And thank you very much to Shattered Flames for being on the ball with tracking tonight, and even doing the pitch hitting on commentary. Thank you to you, Nightmare Phoenix, for coming out to commentate with me, even with door emergencies. And I am Space Drake, and all of you sports fans have been watching the Final Fantasy Randomizer Chaos Comedy Tour Spring Tournament 2021, and you can find more information on the Spring Tournament on the Randomizer itself, and on a whole bunch of related topics on FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. There's information on the site. There's information on the Discord. Do come and join us on the Discord. It's fantastic, and we do things that range from rando to sprite manipulation to arguing about which Final Fantasy is the best. Don't miss out on it. Anyway, I am Space Drake, and this has been the FFR tournament, and we are signing off. See you later, sports fans.